If you just watched Saltburn and you were left completely speechless, you are not alone, because I am still recovering from how shook this movie has me. Saltburn really left me feeling conflicted. I don't know if I think Ollie is the villain or if I want to smash Ollie. But if you allow me, by the end of this video, I'm gonna attempt to figure it out. I'll also be drawing some comparisons between Saltburn and Parasite at the end of this video, so stay tuned if you're interested in that. And shout out to 36Seb29 for suggesting that I watch this. It was on my radar but have fallen off, so I probably wouldn't remember to watch it if you didn't suggest it to me, so thank you. This video will contain spoilers for Saltburn, so if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want spoilers, save this video and come back after you do. Cinematography and design. So I don't claim to be well versed in cinematography, design choices, camera work, or film history, but I feel like I would do Saltburn an injustice if I didn't first talk about the cinematography in this film, because it is top notch. The very first thing I pointed out when watching this film was the fact that it was shot in 1:1. Choosing to release a movie in 1:1 in 2023 is a very intentional choice. And I knew that we would be getting a unique and maybe somewhat avant-garde experience with Saltburn right from the jump because of the fact that it was shot in 1:1. Outside of the aspect ratio, which one of you also mentioned, the next thing I noticed was the use of reflections and lighting in this film. Again, two very clearly intentional decisions. In the very beginning of the movie, when Ollie walks up to the bar and then he decides, no, I don't want to go in tonight, and he walks back outside, we see blue lighting on his face, indicating that maybe he was a little sad that he didn't stay, or maybe sad that Felix was talking to other people. But then as quickly as it went to blue, it changed from blue to red, indicating anger, and that maybe he's going through a roller coaster of emotions about how he felt about that situation or how he feels about Felix overall, which we see confirmed at the end of the movie when he talks about loving Felix but also really hating him.
I wasn't in love with him. I know everyone thought I was. Yeah, I hated him.
In multiple scenes in this movie, the lighting isn't focused on Ollie's face. He actually tends to be backlit a lot in this movie, which is a great use of lighting to let the audience know, hey, maybe there's something dark about this character that you don't yet know. In fact, most of the movie itself is dark when it comes to lighting. The lighting is noticeably brighter the moment that Ollie arrives at the estate, but we are taken immediately back to that darkness with the big black door. Darkness and light choices are seen throughout the film, and they are really noticeable. But I don't feel like they were forced or trying too hard. In addition to the color of the lights, coloring in general was very important. We saw this when Felix first shows Ollie around the house and he says, well, this is the green room, this is the red room. It was giving me Picasso vibes, and clearly color is a big deal in this movie. As I previously mentioned, reflections are also huge in this movie as well. Do I need to say also and as well? I don't really think so. It's kind of the same word. One of the first times I remember seeing a reflection is when Ollie is hanging out with everyone at the estate and they're finally start to come around to him and maybe not being as mean and kind of taking him in as one of the group. And he's laying in the field and we see a reflection of the house in the lake, indicating that the house and its order is about to be turned upside down. And that's how we knew that a major change was about to come. The next reflection that really stands out to me is after that infamous courtyard scene. And after Ollie lies to Felix about what happened with his sister, it made him think that Farley had basically made the entire thing up. That situation leads to an argument between Felix and Farley that may not have happened if Ollie didn't tell that lie. Right after all of that happens, Ollie is sitting at the dinner table and we see a reflection of him in the table. But not only do we see a reflection, we see it upside down. I did a side-by-side here to show what it would have looked like had that scene been right side up and we saw his direct reflection in the table, but because it was flipped upside down, it definitely added a more sinister look and feel to that shot. And now we are seeing this turned around, flipped version of Ollie. He isn't just some guy who is looking for friends. He is actually actively manipulating Felix at this point in the movie. And we are introduced to another layer of Ollie, hence we are getting another view of him via the reflection. The third and final use of reflections that I want to point out happens after Felix takes Ollie to visit his parents, or what Felix thought was just going to be his mom, and finds out that Ollie has been lying not only about his mom being addicted to drugs, but about his father's death as well. His parents are perfectly happy and perfectly healthy from what we can see. When they make it back to the estate, Ollie is sitting in front of a trifold mirror, with him in the middle, face unseen, with a shadowy version of him on the left side and a properly lit version of him on the right side, which to me was a great depiction of the fact that Ollie couldn't show him true self, hence why we're not seeing his actual reflection in that mirror that's directly in front of him. But he's also now dealing with this shadowy, darker side that Felix is well aware of now because he knows that he lied about everything. But he still has this well-lit side that everyone else thinks he is because they still think that he's a great guy. They haven't really found out anything yet. He's still innocent to them. Another thing I noticed, although very small in comparison to everything else I just said, is the fact that they used Old English lettering. I actually said to my husband, oh, is this movie not set in modern times? Like, look at the Old English text. But I feel like that again was a very intentional design. And it was clarified once Ollie makes it to the house and Felix is giving him a tour and he said, yeah, I know the house is a little old, but you know, it's home, or whatever he says.
I'm really happy you're here. I'm sorry that everything's so old-fashioned.
Life at this house during the summer feels slower, it feels old, it feels paced almost. And I feel like maybe that's the reason that Old English was chosen. I don't know. That's just a random thought that I had in my head, so I wanted to share it in this video. Character introductions. I feel like every character in this movie was introduced in such a strong, in-your-face type of way. We have the numbers obsessed guy at the beginning who literally yells at Ollie to ask him a math question and is dead set on pointing out the fact that it's just them two in this dining hall or this meeting hall. When we first meet Farley, who ironically ends up being the only one to make it away from Ollie, although not unscathed, he also comes on really strong, making fun of Ollie for his outfit choices and really coming down on him for his use of the word thus in an essay.
It's a funny word.
Why?
I don't know. I don't think we really use it in real life, do we?
Which, I felt offended by that. I feel like the only time I've ever used the word thus was in an essay. Thus, this seemed like a totally appropriate use of the word to me. Even when Ollie meets all of Felix's friends at the bar and they're peer pressuring him to drink, and then again, they're peer pressuring him to buy his round of the drinks, they all come on very, very strong. When we first meet Duncan, who I guess I'm gonna call the butler, he comes on very strong and is upset with Ollie about not telling them that he was going to arrive earlier because they had sent a car for him. And finally, when Ollie had been paid off by the dad and he was leaving the house, all of the house staff was outside basically throwing daggers at him. And that was the first time we were introduced to the staff as a whole, and they also came on very strong. Everyone, even the seemingly most insignificant characters, are introduced so strongly in this movie that all of the characters really demand your attention. Even Ollie's parents, who don't necessarily come on strong as far as being really aggressive, but they are just about the nicest people that you will ever meet. They are absolutely lovely people, and Ollie has completely lied about them and to them. Let's talk about the music in Saltburn. Almost every song that played in this movie, I was like, oh shit, that's a bop. When I heard Hang Me Up to Dry, I was like, they are simply not fucking around with the music choices in this movie. Then I heard Satisfaction, Time to Pretend, and Apple Bottom Jeans, and I was like, okay, yeah, they knew what they were doing. And it was tied up perfectly with that ending scene of Ollie dancing naked in this house that he had basically just murdered to get. And what better song to play than Murder on the Dance Floor? I can tell a millennial made this movie. It is very millennial core in regards to the music. Okay, let's talk about those scenes. There were so many scenes in this movie that got a big reaction out of me. I saw another YouTuber do this and I am so sorry because I forgot who they were. But basically they would record themselves watching a movie or whatever it is that they were going to cover so that they can input the real-time reaction of their reaction when they were watching it. So I recorded myself watching Saltburn so that I could maybe get some similar clips like that to put into this video. So you may see one or two of those pop up moving forward. You're thinking it, I'm thinking it. The graveyard scene. That happened. We all saw it and it was wild. Truth be told, I feel like I watched that scene happen in slow motion. And I went on a roller coaster from there's no way they're actually going to show this on screen to oh my god, they're actually about to show this on screen.
Oh my god. He's about to fuck the dirt.
Please stop.
He's about to fuck the dirt. This is getting full.
Please stop.
One thing I felt that this film was great at was including shock value scenes that actually progress the story. Sometimes movies or TV shows will add a lot of shock value just to get that shock value reaction, but the story would have been just fine without that scene. But that dirt scene, however fucked up it was, progressed the story and progressed Ollie's character. Then there was that bathtub scene and literally watching Ollie lick up bathwater and you know what else was in that bathwater. However fucked up that scene was, it progressed the story. And it was really the beginning of Ollie's descent into madness, although he probably was a little mad before, but it was the first time that we saw, oh, something something's not really clicking within him. And we just saw him get progressively more unhinged after that happened. Additionally, I think that that scene was only compounded by the fact that there are people out there who actually do sell their bathwater. And someone, somewhere, probably right now, is out there pouring that purchased bathwater into their tub and licking it up like Ollie. And you know what? Whatever. I love that for them. And of course, the courtyard blood / Joker face scene deserves a mention. I will admit, for a second, I thought this movie was about to turn into Twilight because of that scene and the fact that the sister had previously mentioned that it was going to be a full moon.
Do you know what that means? We're all about to lose our minds.
I was like, okay, surely these people are vampires or werewolves, or the story is about to go that way. I'm happy that it didn't go that way because I felt like that would have been a cheesy take, and I like this story much better. But yeah, I think that we can all admit that people were shocked by both that courtyard scene and the bathtub scene after he left and he had the blood on his face. Is Ollie a villain? Okay, so I have to admit, I may be a teeny tiny little bit attracted to Ollie's character, and thus I might be biased about that. And I know that's about to be a hot take and y'all gonna say I'm weird, but I'm here to give my honest opinion. I am very much attracted to this kind of character. Are you picking up what the fuck I'm putting down? If the character has even a hint, a pinch of Dom energy, I'm probably gonna fall in love with them. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. And this is really simply a case of the girls who get it, and the girls who don't. I cannot explain why Ollie telling Vanessa that she was gonna eat in a tone that he told it to her in is hot. But if you think that it is, then you know why it is. And if you don't, I can't explain it. The psychology behind this and the fact that characters like this are usually problematic is not lost on me. Christian couldn't commit and had severe childhood trauma. Don Massimo was literally a kidnapper. Mr. Gray was hella manipulative. And in Ollie's case, he literally manipulated and or murdered everybody around him. And yeah, I still found the character hot. Like, I'm sorry, what do you want me to do about that? I can't deny it. And I will not be shamed for it nor apologize for it. It also helps that I think Barry is attractive in general, so there's that. Finding out that Ollie was telling this entire story to the mom in the end made it just that much more fucked up, especially considering that he presumably started a relationship with her after killing almost all of her nuclear family, got her to leave everything to him in her dying will and testament, and then went on to dance naked in her house pretty much immediately after she died. But everything that makes Ollie a sick and twisted character makes Saltburn kind of beautiful. He plotted on his family, and he did it in such a calculated and premeditated way that, to be honest, something makes me appreciate his dedication. Poking holes in Felix's bike tire so that he would get a flat and need help, setting Farley up with that email and make everyone distrust him and essentially leave him out in the cold, purposely running into the mom at the cafe and typing literal gibberish on the computer as he waited for her to walk in. All so well thought out. All so dark and yet so beautiful at the same time. So if Ollie is a villain, then he's the perfect villain. Overall writing in Saltburn. The ending monologue really solidified this film as a 10 for me. Ollie gets to about the middle of his confession to the mom, and he starts saying, I was in love with Felix, I loved him, but I also really fucking hated him. In fact, I hated all of y'all.
I hate all of you.
And you made it so easy.
I hated you for being perfect, for having no worries. And he describes the family as dogs sleeping with their bellies up and having no cares in the world. And no natural predators. No predators, of course, except for him. I have discussed this film extensively with one of my friends, and her conclusion is that the writing is faulty and that the story contains plot holes. I completely disagree with her, but I did want to share her POV just as thought starters and leave it open for discussion. She thinks that Felix's best friend from the previous year being brought up, but that story not really being elaborated on, is a plot hole. My take on that is that I don't really feel like we need to know what happened with that best friend. We know that a significant event took place. We know that it led to them not being friends anymore. And that's really enough for me, but it felt like a plot hole to her. She also views the fact that it feels like this family was completely chosen at random as a plot hole. In my POV, I really don't feel like it was random. Although it wasn't shown, I deduced from the movie that Ollie had did a lot of research on this family, which takes me back to everything being meticulously planned out. They weren't chosen at random. He knew everything about them and knew that Felix was his target from the very beginning. It was Felix for a reason. It was his family for a reason. And I don't feel like I really need to see the process on how that happened in order for me to know that it happened. Saltburn and Parasite comparison. This next part will contain spoilers for the Korean film Parasite. So if you plan on watching that and you don't want the spoilers, feel free to skip to the recommendation chapter using the timestamps in the description box below. Also, just this morning, today is December 27th as I am filming this video, I actually just found out that one of the main actors in Parasite, Lee Sung-kyung, just passed away this morning, so my condolences to his family and any of his fans. May he rest in peace. After discussing Saltburn with both my friend and my husband, they both found similarities between the two films. I actually hadn't seen Parasite, although it had been on my list for a very long time. I'm gonna be straight up. Sometimes it takes a little bit more effort for me to sit down and watch a film with subtitles, and because Parasite is in Korean and all subtitles, it's been on my list for a little longer than I would have liked. But I had only heard great things, so I knew that I was gonna watch it eventually. I think Saltburn just kind of pushed it to the forefront of my list. So I watched it and I wanted to include some of my thoughts on both films as well. I do understand the comparison. They are both great films about the psychology of people and what happens when you infiltrate a family, basically. I love how involved the Parasite family got. I was watching it and I was wondering how they were gonna replace this person and how they were gonna replace that person. It was a really interesting story to see how that all played out. But there is something about Saltburn that just felt darker and more sinister. Even though in Parasite they did eventually kill, I don't think they set out to do that from the jump. Whereas Ollie 100% set out to kill people. He knew that eventually he was going to take this entire family out. I like that sinister aspect. I enjoy that darkness, and I think that's why I like Saltburn more. And I know that Parasite is highly regarded. It has something like a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that might be a hot take, but it is my take. I do think it was very dark of them both to eventually end up in the house of the people who they had terrorized. But in Parasite, ultimately, they got into that house by working hard and making a lot of money. And Ollie got into the house by killing off pretty much the entire family, minus the dad and Farley. Recommendation. If you enjoyed Saltburn or Parasite, I recommend checking out The Occupant on Netflix. It doesn't go into as much depth as these two films, but it's still a great watch if you like this kind of psychology of people type of film. And it's a great story in its own right. I thoroughly enjoyed creating this video and watching Saltburn and Parasite. And I want to thank 36Seb29 one more time. You should tell me your name unless you just don't mind me calling you by your username. But thank you again for suggesting this film to me. I'm currently obsessed with it and it's all thanks to you. I had literally zero intentions of dropping another video before the new year, but when I saw this movie, I knew I had to get these thoughts out right away because I just loved it so much. Definitely let me know your thoughts and opinions respectfully below, and I will see you in 2024. Bye. Yeah guys, I literally had no intentions of recording another damn video until 2024. I mean early, like January, the first week of January, but yeah, I wasn't gonna do anything. But I'm gonna edit this video. Today is Wednesday. I want to give myself some time to like just as meticulously as Ollie go through this video with a fine-tooth comb before I get it up. So yeah, I can't wait to see what you guys think about it. And I'll see y'all in the new year because that's the next time you'll see me. I'm taking a little breaky break. I need an editing break after this. Bye. So that he would get a flat. Christian had a whole lot of issues though. It happened. We all saw it. We all saw it. It was wild. In cinematography. Here we go. It's giving Mario. Here we go again. Be so serious. Insane. Parasite at the end of the video. You were left completely speechless. And you were left completely speechless. You're not speechless. That's not a word. That's not. Wow, this is gonna be a rough recording. I can't even get through these first fucking 10 words. Okay, let's go. What are the words? Cinematography design choices. Ooh, right there when I say shot in 1:1, I should crop my video to 1:1. Oh, girl. Okay. Ends up being the only one